So that's our new show. We're FucksSake.
Wow, you could have driven a fucking semi truck through that silence.
People. Joe Rogan's a cunt.
All right.
It's anything used in the cleanup after you've completed the act. Could be a sock, could be a towel.
All right. We're going.
We're going.
All right. So let me start it off.
All right, go right ahead.
To let everyone know that we're kind of in the transition phase as far as our name. Used to be the three mediocre, opinionated, middle-aged white men, yada yada yada. Now
Rolls
it's
off
just
the tongue so beautifully.
Exactly. We've come down with FucksSake. So that's our new show. We're FucksSake. Also, if you want to get in contact with any one of us, 3mediocrewhites@gmail.com. That's the number 3. Mediocre. I'm not going to spell it to you. If you can't spell it, then
don't embarrass yourself. Just don't embarrass yourself. That's good.
So if you have any ideas of what we should do for shows or anything like that, and I don't know if you guys want to let the people in, but maybe if they there she is. There she is.
Get out of here, bitch. Anyway,
most of our show is behind the scenes with the Discord server. So email us and maybe get an invitation. You might see some of the real debating going on there. It gets a little spicy and saucy in there. A lot more than here. So today, something a little lighter, I hope.
Is it?
Than our usual heaviness, like Star Wars.
That was supposed to be light.
That was supposed to be light, yeah. And this is too. Pretty much, can comedians take it too far? Where's the line? Is there a line? So,
I think we should just go around and just give just a quick yes or no, and then dive into it from there. I mean, we'll start with you, Pat, since you brought it up.
Okay.
Can they go too far?
I don't think they can. I think we have to support that they can't go too far, whether we like what they're saying or not. That's where I stand.
Michael?
Yeah, of course they can go too far. Yeah.
I think I fall more on the I'm not sure they can, only because I use comedy in like weird places. I do my best material at a funeral home. I don't know why, but I just like making people feel good. I don't joke about the deceased person. That would just be wrong. But in times where it probably doesn't call for comedy, that's usually where I do my best work.
I don't know. A lot of Irish funerals, they get a little saucy with stories and stuff. So even at funerals, it could be. But yet again, where do you draw that line? At a funeral?
Well, I was just telling my stepdaughter back when the space shuttle disaster happened in '86. I remember the very next day, one of my brother's friends came over and they were hanging out listening to music or whatever. And when he left, he hit the bottom of the stairs and was like, "Oh, hey, do you guys know what NASA stands for?"
Oh shit! This has stuck with me my whole life.
I know, and we were all dumb, like, no. And he was like, "Yeah, they need another 7 astronauts." Yeah. And at the time, it was like, "Oh man, that's hardcore."
I cannot look at the NASA logo without hearing that in my head. It's horrible, horrible.
Well, he gave that one, and then he took 2 steps and turned back around and said, "Oh, do you know they found out what the last thing was that went through the astronauts' mind?" And you're like, "What?" He's like, "The dashboard," and then he left. I mean, yeah, hardcore stuff.
Or that they found Head and Shoulders all over the beach. I know there's something that they had dandruff, something like that.
Yeah. You hadn't heard that one, Michael, about the dashboard?
No,
Oh, you're probably better for it. So sorry about that. Didn't mean to bring.
no, I had heard all the, and I've heard other ones that you haven't mentioned yet either. So I remember. I remember.
So, Pat, you just what brought this up? Because this was like a last minute topic. Was there something you guys were discussing that, or was it something that happened recently that precipitated you bringing that up, or Michael bringing up, or?
Yeah, without getting too much in the weeds, we had a pretty big blowout about it. Don't want to get into to the spicy
No,
details of it.
no.
But yeah, that came up as one of our arguments, one of our debates. I don't know.
Did that stem from what I know? I haven't heard it. Actually, I did hear it. What Tom Segura said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. About the washcloth thing. And
yeah.
I I personally think that people that particular case, and I don't want to go hard into it. I think he just looked a little too much into it. Maybe he didn't. But either or, I still stand by the fact that I think comedians, it's kind of their duty to push us to limits that make us uncomfortable. And when you have politicians doing it, or philosophers doing it, or some other people of real power doing that, it becomes defensive, I think, more than if you're making a joke about it and then you think, oh, well, maybe there's something in that. I don't know. I don't think you can go too far. I think you need to push people to that line.
Michael, go ahead.
Mike? Yeah.
I don't think you need to push people to a line. You can choose to push people to a line if that's what you're called to do. That's fine. Mm-hmm. So by being a comedian, does that mean you can say any horrific thing you want as long as it's in a joke? Like, there's nothing that's not on the table. There's nothing that you could say that's unacceptable because it's part of a joke.
Asking me?
I think he's just throwing it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think personally, I think things come to mind like there was a old video I remember seeing of Patrice O'Neill. Mike, you're Patrice O'Neill, native of Dorchester. Great, probably.
I'm not a native.
Well,
I'm here.
You're for the time being. But he would say some horrible things, some really horrible things. My wife has a hard time watching him because he is very misogynistic. He has some very harsh opinions. But what comes to mind is when he was defending Don Imus, like 10 years ago, when Don Imus
nappy-headed.
Yeah, he called a whole basketball team.
Yep.
And I remember seeing Patrice O'Neill with Osario, I think was her name, some other person who was on the side of, you can't make these kind of jokes. You can't make jokes about culture, about rape was one of the things. She brought up rape a couple of times in that. And he mentioned the Angry Pirate and the Donkey Punch.
Pretty good at it.
Right there.
Yeah, Patrice says that if you're having sex with a woman, doggy style, and if you hit her in the head just the right time.
No, it's ejaculate in her eye and kick her in the shin, and she walks around like, arg! It's the Angry Pirate. That's what she was trying to say.
A violent act of hitting her in the back of her head, her body.
It's called the Donkey Punch.
Which will then.
Why are you laughing? She's outraged. It's called the Donkey Punch. It's whole humor that she has no clue what it is.
This stuff, and that was on Fox News, I think. Fox or CNN. It was one of the news stations. And shit like that has to happen. People have to, and he was we didn't know at the time, but he was dying. Not unlike when Norm knew he was dying. He said some of this stuff that he wouldn't probably typically say. But you got people like Jeselnik. Um, thoughts and prayers. I remember being at a work site with this kid. Big Boston. I love Boston. Boston's the best. Very pro-native Boston. I go, thoughts and prayers. I'll tell you exactly when you're gonna shut it off. Absolutely right. It was when he did the Boston Marathon joke in Thoughts and Prayers. But he was making the point that he has to make those jokes. And I think he's right. That comedians have to show us where that line is. It's not going to educate you with what?
So you're implying there is a line.
They have to cross that line for us to know where we're comfortable. But that line has to be crossed.
It has to be.
Has to be.
What happens if it's never crossed?
Then we sit in a vanilla world where everyone is walking in eggshells, making sure no one is offended by anything.
Isn't that how comedians describe the world right now?
No.
Okay.
For instance. No, I'm asking, for instance.
For instance, I mean, no one complains about, well, aside from the Republicans, another large group of people who complain about cancel culture is comedians. They say everyone's too sensitive, everyone's too soft, and they don't like it. I've heard the opinion expressed by a number of successful comedians.
Yeah. Dave Chappelle, huge. I mean, one of his shows, I remember he started off with saying, you know, the problem is, and he points at the crowd that's there to see him. You are the problem. But by doing that, by pointing out the cancel culture out there, is pretty much them saying, we don't give a shit about this cancel culture. We're gonna go forward with these jokes, like Chappelle, like Tom Segura that doubled down on the Louisiana joke. One special he had, he made a Louisiana joke about Cajuns, and then the next joke he kind of came out like he was gonna apologize for it, and he ended up just saying, "Well, fuck you," to the Cajuns. It's you have to go that far. You have to. I mean, you don't have to. My taste in comedy goes that far, and when people try to stifle these people from saying certain jokes that may offend certain people, you're going down a road where do you draw the line? Because I may be offended by one thing that you're offended by a different thing that's offended by. So then where do we draw the line? Just say, okay, let's not make any jokes about anyone.
That's a good point, because I think, of course, a comedian can cross a line because every individual has their own line. And my line is different than your line, is different from Doug's line. Everyone's line is at a different
Doug
spot.
has no line. Doug has no line.
No. Pretty dark.
I'll bet I could find something. But however, you mentioned
I'll take you on that offer, by the way.
No, I won't.
So you mentioned two things. You mentioned cancel culture and you mentioned people trying to stifle. Okay. Has Dave Chappelle been canceled?
No.
Okay. Was Tom Segura stifled?
He never will be.
Right.
There are people that are. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there are people who are upset and say that this person or that person crossed a line, and they express their opinions about it, and they may influence other people to watch or to not watch that person's comedy. But no one's being turned off, like no one's being prevented from saying anything. So, like, what are they crying about? So you cross a person's line and they get upset about it and they express that opinion. And I think their opinion is completely valid. Whether or not you're a comedy purist, which you very much are, I think it's fair to say. I don't think it's crazy to say that a comedian can cross the line. because everyone's line is different.
But if you have lines of, say, Tom Segura or Dave Chappelle. Let's take Dave Chappelle. He's still at the top of his game, and he's still filling in theaters and amphitheaters and really big play. He's bringing in people at the thousands at a time.
Right.
And then the next day you get 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10 out of those thousands. Their voice goes so much louder than all the laughter that's happened during that 1 hour that Chappelle was on. And I think that's unfair. I don't know if that's even valid to this debate, but it's just something out there that the cancel culture isn't controlled by the masses. It's controlled by the very small amount of people with a blog or with a
cancel culture. Who's been what cancel culture?
Can
you just said he's filling stadiums. In what way has he been canceled?
No.
A lot of people feel that he's crossed the line on a number of different occasions.
Yeah.
In what way has he been canceled?
He has not. But tell me what's Tosh doing right now? What's Dane Cook doing right now? They were canceled. Tosh with the rape jokes.
So, all right. So let me ask a clarifying question. What does it mean to be canceled? Like what committee cancels you? And what paperwork do you get that declares you canceled?
Good point.
So people just stop watching you.
Yep.
Okay. If that's a culture where you say something that people don't like, and so they stop consuming your media.
But is that
it's Louis C.K. He didn't say anything. He just just pulled his pud a couple of times.
Didn't the bulk of don't you think the bulk of the quote unquote canceling happens because some media side, whatever it is, picks up a story and runs with it and beats it to death until they whip enough people up where something happens?
I think that might have been what happened to Tosh, because he just disappeared. He wasn't people didn't stop coming to his shows. He just disappeared after that whole situation that he had.
I don't even know what situation you're talking about.
He made a joke about rape. Someone got very offended, and then he kind of doubled down. He dissed Tom Segura, and he says, "Well, maybe that person should be raped right here," which wasn't funny at all. But that was the last we heard.
But it was a joke, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So what he said didn't cross the line, even though he was specifically, from what it sounds like, very much purposely crossing the line.
Yeah, he was angry in the same way that what's his name, the dude.
But he's a comedian, so it's okay.
Ooh, man, that was a lot of dead air there. Holy shit. Wow, you could have driven a fucking semi truck through that silence.
I'll give you that.
Damn. Nice one, Michael.
I'll give you that.
Nice one. So what about, like, I watched a little bit of that Chris Rock special that's on, I think it's Netflix, where he completely obliterates Will Smith and his wife. Like, I don't know, it was 10, 15 minutes long. Just, I don't know if you saw that at all, Michael, or not, but
I think I saw that specific
just that portion
of it like once.
Yeah, I mean, once is enough. I mean, that really wasn't comedy. That was more just, that was a good old fashioned beatdown. Is what that was.
Like a rant. Yeah.
But I guess the question.
So
well, that's my question: is what constitutes you saying that you're a comedian? Do you have to be a professional comedian to just say anything you want, and then if you say something, you start getting backlash, and you're like, "Well, no, I'm just a comedian. That was satire. That was a joke. So it must be okay, right?" Is that more to your point there, Michael?
It's a good one, Doug. That was on my list to bring up.
Thank you. Hey, jump the list.
So do you think it was wrong of Chris Rock to do what he did?
Do I? Well, no, he got smacked in the face on live TV. I think you got to have a little bit of a rebuttal. to that.
Well, we're not talking about right or wrong, are we? I thought we were talking about crossing a line.
I don't think it crossed the line.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
No, I don't think.
Do you think it crossed the line? Like, he used his platform to get back in a debatably funny way. With
From what I remember I don't think it crossed any. I wouldn't say that it crossed any lines. No,
he was making jokes. It wasn't top of the line Chris Rock jokes, but it was, I was all for it. I was so happy to see him do that.
Yeah, people have opinions, on both sides regarding, but I don't think anything he said could be said to have crossed the line. When you said Shakes, he was mad. I get it.
Are there specific topics, Michael, that you think are just verboten? Like you don't go near like the Holocaust, or you don't go near.
No, I don't think topics specifically are off limits. I think it's how you're joking about the topic, and
intent.
Yeah.
I'm totally for that. It's where the intent is, and I think a lot of people can see where that intent is.
Yeah.
Like the Seinfeld guy. What's his name? The guy that played
Michael Richards.
Yeah, that intent was, he was, that was wrong. There wasn't anything funny. There wasn't.
You seem to be cracking up thinking about it over there.
No. So I was thinking of something else. I was thinking about your fucking big ass face over there, you piece of shit. No, I wasn't laughing at Michael Richards, dude. I'm laughing because of my.
There's an Italian. There's an Italian over there.
And yeah, maybe. What about people like George Carlin? He was funny, but he was more poignant. He was more of a loud philosopher.
Yeah, I don't think.
And I
can't think of anything that was even close to the edge.
For the 70s with the shit, piss, cocksucker, motherfucker, the 7 words, that was.
Yeah, it's just swearing.
Well, that was something.
No, I know.
Day and age that changed. That changed the landscape of pretty much all entertainment. Was those 7 words. But at that time, you couldn't say something like that.
But I think it also depends on who the joke is at the expense of and how it's expressed, and also whether or not it's even really a joke, because the big blowout that Pat and I had was over something that Tom Segura said on a podcast as sort of an offhand comment.
Oh God, I'm fucked then, because I make those all the time.
Is there a difference between a comedian having spent a year crafting and perfecting a joke and then telling it on stage versus just saying shit for 3 hours, however many times a week, and you say, well, he's a comedian, so nothing he says can be held against him because he's a comedian.
I'm not gonna wash my legs and feet.
You think that's just a black people thing?
Clearly.
Well, and he's
the only one here who took the day off. Washes his legs and feet. No, I don't think it's a black thing. I think using a washcloth is for poor people, but I don't think that washing your legs and feet is for black people.
I agree. I think the washcloth is a poor person thing. Because
I've only met poors who use them. I've never.
Did you try?
Pathology is my people have been marked as dirty, as filthy, as inherently exposable and disposable at the same time being ridiculed for hygiene practices. Intersectionality lets you know and think about how race and class, how they intersect, and how, listen, only the poor use a washcloth. Granny always said in the midst of every joke is a little bit of truth, huh? And some of us have internalized those sentiments so much, we'll travel with hygiene products in a backpack.
Well, he's working his comedy out, and one of the things that I don't like as much about Tom Segura is his hours. If you followed his podcast, I haven't in a year, so hopefully his next hour that's coming out in a couple of months will be all new to me. But the hours before, there's one called Ball Hog, which was all about all of his jokes came from his podcast. He works his shit out in his podcast.
I think Bill Burr does the same thing.
Yeah,
or has been recently anyway.
Bill Burr is like my top 3, but I can't listen to him on a podcast.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's when you're working shit out, I think, yeah, it shouldn't be touched because the intent isn't there. There is no malintent for anything that Tom says.
That's a pretty forgiving, all-encompassing statement.
Yeah.
Is this the part where I work out my Mexican material? Because I mean, is this the show for that?
I mean, yeah, that'll certainly get us a lot.
Hey, listen,
I
had to mention it at least to get it in there. That's all.
No habla.
You get canceled? Will you get the letter from the agency?
Oh, can I frame it and put it on the wall behind me, and then we can have it? I'm canceled. All right.
But what about Rogan? Rogan went through a cancel culture thing where they brought up that he used the N-word so many times. Someone made a big montage of him using the N-word over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what the cancel committee, and this was specifically from Spotify. People said that they would leave Spotify, workers of Spotify, if they published certain shows that he had, and those shows weren't even the N-word stuff. It was the trans opinions that he had. Like he didn't like trans women in sports going against regular biological women. So that is a case of cancel culture working, because he dropped those shows. Spotify dropped those shows because they all got together and they said, you better not publish these things or we're gone. And it worked. Okay. They didn't for the N-word, by the way.
So are you saying that should not have happened because he was a comedian?
Yeah, let me piggyback that. Is it okay if you're a comedian and you're white to say the N-word, but because you're a comedian, it's fine? Is that?
Well, being someone that's watched a lot of those episodes that they brought that from, the most that I could see is he was using that in reference of other people saying that word. And he wasn't saying, well, this guy said the N-word. He would just come out and say what that quote was from the other person. And I'd say half of that montage, I recognized those episodes where he actually was just quoting someone else by saying that. Is that is that legitimate?
I don't think it's ever okay for a white person to use the N-word. I don't care if you're joking or not. Yeah. No, I just don't think it's okay. I don't think that anybody should use the word, quite frankly.
Yeah, and if a white person brings up the idea of, and now this is me thinking that
callback.
I think it's racist if a white person is arguing the fact of why can't I use that word. That's one of the things that really pisses me off is why do they get to say it but we don't? Why would you want to? What?
Right. So just to be clear, you're saying that when people make that argument, you think that argument is bullshit?
Absolutely, 100%. I think they're blatantly being racist by trying to fight to use that word just because they get to use it. We don't get to use it. Why can't we use it? They use it. That's
right. Yeah.
The question right after that should be, why do you want to use it? Why would you use it?
Yeah. Oh, do you really not know? Like are you genuinely asking that question? Why can't you use it? You have no idea.
But
back to Joe Rogan being canceled for the trans thing. Okay. He was. I mean, you call him.
He wasn't canceled enough, in your opinion, right?
No, I'm not saying
canceled.
I'm saying no. I don't think he was canceled.
He was censored.
He's got the certificate on the wall. He was canceled.
I mean, multi multi-billion-dollar corporation chose not to air a few of his episodes because the things in it were more controversial than they wanted to deal with, you can call that canceling, sure.
Well, it's definitely censoring. We can agree on that. Okay.
But the point I was making is because he has done some comedy specials, does anything that comes out of his mouth count as a joke and can't cross a line? Or can he just say dumb shit on a podcast and then be held responsible for that dumb shit?
Not to the extent that I think Joe Rogan has been, because people are one of the things that I've talked in the past with you up there, Doug, was what was the controversial thing where he said it was something in the news that he got wrong, and it was really do you remember what it was?
Was that when he was injecting himself with ivermectin?
There are so many things that he's gotten wrong that I've heard about.
No. They did an entire episode on something, and they spent an hour on it, and like 5 minutes before the show ends, Jamie looked something up and was like, "Oh, it just came out that this story is fake," and he's like, "Oh well, whatever," and then he just moved on. Like he spent an hour arguing a point that was proven to be false, and then he just discounted it. But if someone listened to it for 45 minutes and didn't catch the end where they found out everything was fake, well, now that person's going to go around and tell 10 people the bullshit that he was spewing. That's the problem I have.
Well, the thing is, no, I don't think, because if you listen to Rogan's podcast, he's not very funny at all. He is an interviewer, but he never claims to be news or newsworthy in any way. But see, I have the problem with the leftists coming out because they're so indoctrinated with believing everything that Bill Maher and Jon Stewart says as their news when they're just comedians. They see someone like Rogan coming off like he knows something, which he doesn't, and he says that often in his podcast, that don't take my word for it, I'm just, he's an entertainer. They can't differentiate. They think that he is a newsworthy source, and the Joe Rogan Experience is never marketed as a newsworthy source.
We're getting off topic.
Yeah,
but that's the argument you and I had, though, Pat, is that at the beginning of his show there should be a disclaimer that says, "This ain't news. This is my opinion. Do your own research." Same thing should happen in the beginning of Tucker Carlson's show, but that's off topic. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan are not the same thing.
They're both
it's like
news.
saying Oprah Winfrey should have something at the beginning. He's today's male Oprah Winfrey.
All right, Michael. Sorry, we're getting off topic. Reel us back in.
Okay, so isn't Joe Rogan the highest paid podcaster in the world?
Yes.
Okay, so wow, he sure did get canceled. So they dropped a couple of episodes because he said shitty things, which by your own admission weren't funny and probably weren't even part of a joke. He's just podcasting. So does this comedian umbrella of vulnerability apply to him still?
Well, he was expressing his opinion on a subject.
Okay.
He wasn't expressing it as news or comedy. It was an entertainer expressing his opinion on this.
Okay, so we're not talking about a comedian going too far. We're talking about a podcaster saying something stupid and being held responsible. Whether you agree or disagree with it, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we went off the rails. Is what just happened. Yeah.
When you bring up Joe Rogan, that's what tends to happen.
We're probably nice gonna have to do an intermission on this, guys.
Nice dig.
I think I don't know. I think we can wrap it up. Basically, I feel
you're right and I'm wrong.
First of all, it's extremely subjective. Everyone has a different line. Different comedians will cross different lines for different people. And I mean, if you call people stopping, not watching their shit anymore or expressing their opinions to a corporation that pays this person as cancel culture, then fine. But
But
No,
also,
I think it's an insane statement to say that because someone is a comedian, nothing they say, could they possibly be held responsible for? No matter how shitty it is.
well, I
I
also,
just think that's an extreme viewpoint.
yeah, and okay, and I'm an extremist in that way. But one of the things that I have a problem with was um, when like you would bring up someone's comedy and say this is what he means about this, and this is why you should feel bad about this. That you're putting someone else on the position of, well, if you're going to laugh at something like this, then you're a bad person as well. Is that something that should be
Do you have any
supported?
examples of that?
Like if I thought nothing of a washcloth joke, I didn't think it was as
All right, easy does it. Easy
yeah.
does it.
But yeah, it's but I felt like I should be at a defensive about it, and I should not like that joke. I didn't like it or dislike it. It was Tom Segura just working shit out. That'll probably be on one of his specials.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he talks about the pores. So
cool. Yeah,
cool.
he's done that on a couple. It's his little, just like every radio show has some
Well,
type
I'm glad
of
he
callbacks.
remembers his roots and views those of us who don't have the means that he has as valuable people.
Yeah,
but
that's
all right. So
therein lies the joke, Mike.
Yeah, no, super funny. Yeah. But so he makes a joke about washcloths, and a certain demographic of people get upset about it because he was talking about them, not you, talking about them. Yeah, and they get upset. And your point is that they should not get upset because it's comedy.
So the poors are upset at that. Poor people are upset at that. People are all
banding black people.
Oh, black people.
Context of the joke. It was part of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know any black people, but the black people I know use washcloths. It's a thing.
Yeah, no, I know you have a black friend. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, two.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Doug's getting uncomfortable. This doesn't happen very often. New feelings.
So those people don't have a right to get upset about a joke that was made at their expense?
Yes, they can be upset, but keep it to yourself. Don't try to make other people upset for what you're upset about.
Who's censoring now? Keep it to yourself. That's
Plane just flew through that silence. God damn. You've been stumped a couple times tonight there, Pat.
Says the guy who wanted to start a fucking podcast.
That's right.
Get the fuck out of here. For the record, I didn't find Tom Segura's joke especially offensive. I just, understand that some people are upset about it and they have a right to be upset about it. And I don't think he's going to get canceled because I don't think anyone gets canceled. They just fade away because, you don't like their shit.
I think he'll fade away because he's starting to become unfunny, just flat out. I haven't been very impressed with this last two specials.
I mean, it's like being a rock band. It's really hard to keep putting out good albums,
Kreischer's getting better. I don't know if you've seen his latest one.
I watched his newer one. I'm not a huge fan of his stand-up specials. I think he as a person is hilarious.
I was in tears for the whole thing.
His specials are fine.
Yeah.
Who was that? I missed that.
Shit, what is it called? It just came out a couple of days ago. Came out over the weekend.
Razzle Dazzle.
Razzle Dazzle.
Yeah. The whole bit about the raffle.
Oh, with his daughter. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was on the floor.
No. The one with his wife, not the auction. The raffle where he bought all the raffle tickets.
Yes. Yep.
That was funny.
What's that on?
Netflix.
It just dropped a couple days ago or something. So.
Nice. All right.
I think that was I think it was a pretty good discussion. We both made our points.
Yeah. There was a massive silence break there for a bit.
I got two of them. Yeah, he stumped me a few times.
Yeah, he did.
Good job, Michael.
Pat, Pat, you can cut this part out, but
Nope.
when this thing is over, can we just come back on? I just not to do anything. I just want to show you guys something and just get a take on it. Is that an alien? Like, what the hell is that thing?
A chair.
The chair. All right. I just want to get your guys' take on this, because this has been happening in a couple different places. And let me see if I can. Yeah, hopefully this
recording. Should I turn my light back on?
We're recording, but you're fine. You look good. I got it.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Just watch this.
I'm offended as I sit in front of you right now, like offended. Not because the cup of coffee that I'm holding in my hand was $7.78. Oof. Just unreasonable by any measure. I can't imagine that it's a lot more expensive than this anywhere in the world. A cup of coffee, this cup of coffee.
You can get 3 of my super followers for that price.
For $7.78. That's not the part I'm offended by. They wouldn't take cash. Wouldn't take it. My cash is no good there. My cash does not have value in America. I can't get something.
Was it like $100 bill? Because that's common.
No, it was just cash.
Why do you have cash?
No, that's what they're asking. And no, I won't live in that America. No.
Yeah, but you have the Apple Pay, right?
Cash has value.
What are you hiding?
Everywhere in the world.
No.
The American dollar.
Jesus Christ, stop
has
fucking
value
shouting.
anywhere in the world. What? Don't tell me you can't take my cash because I see in the tip jar there's cash.
That's the whole podcast like that.
All right. The reason I say it happens all the time is because there was for a while there at Gillette Stadium they wouldn't take cash. It was card only, which technically in the state of Massachusetts is illegal. They have to take cash. You can't not take cash someplace. But I don't know if you guys have run into that anywhere. I mean, I never carry cash on me.
I never. My wife does, but I don't.
No, I mean, the only time I ever have cash is like from a tip. If a customer gives me a tip, that's the only time I have cash on me.
You take tips, Doug?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Just the tip.
But if I were to
take the whole thing,
then that's the time I would have money on me. So are we seeing the death of money, like actual physical paper money?
Oh yeah, we've been seeing that for the past decade or so, I think. I don't. It's the direction we're going. No one carries cash anymore, except the older Xers and the boomers,
and certain areas of metropolitan areas.
Well, okay, but even that, I mean, yeah, I see it going from the card to eventually you'll have your chip.
Oh, you think so?
You'll be able to turn off the chip eventually.
Oh shit! The bank will cancel you. Just cut off your chip. Shit. I just thought that was interesting. I mean, like I said, I had my own little experience with it, but I mean,
yeah, I definitely see it going in that direction.
Like a Star Wars credit kind of thing.
Just watch at the grocery
Star
store.
Trek.
Watch how many people actually are paying with cash. You very rarely see it.
You know, you see someone writing out a check, just fucking punch.
Oh,
them.
fuck them.
Donkey punch them. That's all.
You're the angry pirate.
Or the rear admiral. No.
Oof.
Jordan Sanchez.
Oh, how about the chowder rag?
What's a chowder rag? I mean, I kind of get it, but
it's anything used in the cleanup after you've completed the act. Could be a sock, could be a towel. You look that up on Turd Words, it's got my name next to it.
Seriously? That's yours? Nice. I know you were doing that for a while.
Yeah, and I think you had to provide a sentence with it, and I think mine said, my room is in such disarray, I had no choice but to use a sock as a chowder rack. Something like that.
Good to have goals, man. Good to have goals.
Yeah, you got to. Why the hell is that? Why is your camera so zoomed in on your face, Michael?
Because I'm leaning forward. Because I'm.
Oh, all right.
I'm usually like wheeled back here. I haven't set up my tripod, so I have it perched.
Okay, no, that's fine. You're just a hell of a lot closer than you were.
Yeah.
Oh, straight. Oh, that's disturbing. Now I know what your wife sees. No wonder why she tries to stay away from you as much as humanly possible.
Thanks, Doug.
No problem, pal. I'm
That
always
hurts.
here for the support.
It hurts because it's true.
It hurts because it's true. That's right. Yeah, that was it. But when are we doing the episode on self checkouts? Anybody?
Self checkouts are the best fucking thing in the world.
Really? Because there's some people who think they're the evil antithesis of this culture we're in now. But I'd rather just do it myself personally.
Dude, I go so fucking fast at those things.
Yeah. The only difference is when I have like, $200 worth of shit in my cart. That just gets a little crazy trying to bag all that, keeping it square, because then it's not on the scale.
And there's like 10 people fucking giving you stink eye.
Yeah, big time.
Or you got produce or lumber or something that someone has to dial into the computer.
Produce always has a number on it, dude.
If it's one or two items of produce, that's cool. But if you're doing your weekly shopping for like a family of 5, don't go to the fucking self checkout.
It's just as bad as writing a check. Checks. Who writes checks anymore?
Old people.
So Doug,
yes, sir.
And Mike, did you hear the songs that we came up with? They sent you a couple of weeks ago.
I listened to one of them. I forgot to listen to the other. Oh, I did watch the whole last podcast, so I heard the beginning and end.
I think that was the same music. Yeah.
Oh, is it the same one?
Yeah, that was the same music for the last podcast. Yeah.
Which most likely this one will have the original music. I haven't done anything with it yet, Doug.
What the hell? Come on.
I haven't done anything with it.
That funky one is fine.
I haven't done anything with it yet.
Forget about it. Michael, bag of donuts.
Hey, gabagool or something.
Broccoli Rob.
Bop-a-da-boopy.
Beep-a-da-bop-a-boo.
All right, so okay, I'll throw it on there. I'll see how that sticks.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Fuck it.
Okay, I'll do it. Hey,
fuck it.
Split a plate of fries.
Yeah, are they gonna have cheese and gravy on? Or... No. Oh shit! All right, you know what? Hold on.
What?
I wanted to get Mike's hot take on this.
Oh, you got that dude up there, the
Hold on,
friggin' guy that's always going over the
this one?
Ask for volunteers for the weekend.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that guy.
That guy's hysterical. I don't know. Do you follow this guy, Michael, on TikTok? He talks about corporate.
Van Tram? Fuck no.
So I brought y'all in here because we need volunteers for Saturday. So who wants to come in tomorrow? Somebody volunteer. Mike, you look like you want to volunteer. Bitch, this is not the Hunger Games. Well, in the Hunger Games, her sister's life was on the line. So what if your sister's life was on the line? Then I'd have a dead sister, and I'd be fishing tomorrow. So I brought y'all in here because we need
I love that guy. Does corporate shit. No, I wanted to get Michael's take on this one really quick because I just saw this one and saved it this afternoon.
If you really think about it, actually, the idea of monogamy is... I definitely should not be talking about
No, this is so good.
We all know that rich princes and counts and barons, they had mistresses all over the place.
Yep.
Monogamy as an idea has never really existed. It's just been that the women were supposed to be monogamous. So actually, I do think that there is this whole thing about like this idea that you're supposed to have one partner forever is sort of a way to control women. If you really...
What are your thoughts on that, Michael?
Yeah, I buy that. I mean, I think history proves it pretty clearly. I mean, I don't know how you could argue against it.
I don't know. I'm looking at Pat. I think he's trying to come up with an argument.
That's controlling women. Monogamy is controlling women.
Yes.
It's not controlling men at all. How is it
Not
one
that it
but
was
not the other?
conceived, no.
Okay. It sounds stupid to me. It sounds, but all right. I'll get it.
You seen that show, Brother Husbands?
No.
Right,
Which
because
one?
it doesn't exist. But the show Sister Wives does.
I think
I
what
have
he's-
no clue what he just meant by that.
I know what he meant by that. So he's talking about sister wives, which is one guy married to a shitload of women, but you never see one woman married to a shitload of guys. That just don't work that way because no dude's gonna be like, yeah, I'm going in right after him. I need,
Yeah,
I need some
ditch
salt in my
monogamy.
diet. I'm going down.
Ditch marriage, ditch monogamy. Yeah. It's archaic, it's outdated.
Okay.
What do you suggest?
I mean, if you want to do it, go for it. But to have it as the expectation, the social norm, I'm done with it. Done with all of it. Do what the fuck you want.
Good. I just don't see how it's a women's thing over a men's thing. At least now, okay, you can bring up a TV show, you can bring up fake fantasy worlds, but in the real life, I mean, it's a 50-50 thing. I am gonna not benefit just as much as the. In fact,
you both suffer equally.
In fact, well, yeah, but in this day and age, if you get divorced, the woman is better off. Typically.
All right. Well, there's no argument there.
Well, so it's really the opposite of what she said. It's there to keep the men at bay. It's there to keep the men down, not the women down. Because women can just walk away and take all the money and the house and the cars and the kids and all that, but the men,
there definitely needs to be a reworking of that whole situation.
Maybe in 14th century England, and they had monarchs and people, that might be different. But right now, no, it's an equal thing. I think she's just fishing.
You're an anti-Femite, aren't you?
No, I'm an equal opportunity offender.
I hate men and women.
Yeah.
Welcome to the He-Man. Oh, is it the He-Man Women Haters Club?
Yeah.
Was that what that was?
That was an Extreme song, right?
I think originally that was a Little Rascals thing.
Oh, okay.
Like way back in the day.
It was. I remember that.
Well, don't talk about Little Rascals because what they did to poor Buckwheat, that was not right.
Or Spot, the dog. Should I heard about that dog? Oof.
Like what?
Oh, I'd rather be Buckwheat, let me tell you.
They used the Spot for target practice. Well, that ended abruptly. Yeah.
And on that note,
that's a way to end it. All right.
It's poor people too, by the way.
Fucking washcloths.
Jesus Christ. Bye, boys.
Do you wash your legs and feet?
Huh?
Do you wash your legs and feet in the shower?
Not my feet, my legs.
Doug?
Yeah, I wash my feet, but I don't use a washcloth.
How do you wash your feet in the shower?
You lean against the wall and you soap up your foot.
Do you?
Like, I mean, I could at least.
I slip. I'd fall if I did that.
Can you? Yeah, but can you?
No, we
can
don't.
you? Can you pick your foot up?
Can't
though?
afford it. Poor.
Can you pick your foot up though to be able to reach it?
What is that?
That's all the time we have
Is
today.
that a